again. 17 more battle with war. Cygnar.
Okay, so we're back with another bat rep. It's me again with my Cygnar. I'm playing Nemo 3 again. I got Thies with me. He plays Khador. And it was Butcher 1, from what I remember.
Butcher Prime, yes.
So this bat rep was like 6 days ago. So we might be a little... Well, I certainly will be a little bit rusty on the details, I guess, at this point.
Me too, I think.
But I think we can remember the strategy overall. So we'll see how we get on, and I'm sure it'll be pretty...
The major points should be clear.
Yeah. Okay, so my Nemo 3 list was pretty similar to what I had last time, except instead of Storm Lancers, I've got 2 Storm Towers. So it's Nemo 3 with Finch and with Reinhold attached. In his battle group, he's got 2 Centurions, one of which has been represented by an Ironclad. And he's also got Dynamo and Thunderhead in his battle group, so it's a pretty big battle group. I've got the Junior Warcaster with the Firefly. Got Strange Ways there as well. And as I said, the 2 Storm Towers. So it's a pretty low model count. I think it's like 14 models. But it's a lot of armor, especially for a Cygnar list. So I quite like the list, and we'll see how it goes for a few more games, I reckon. What about you?
Kind of the opposite of what you brought to the table. I have Butcher Prime, as you already said. Butcher has the trusty War Dog with him. And in his battle group there is Ruin, of course, and then there's Demolisher. Mm-hmm. To support him, I brought Malakov together with a Juggernaut, and then I have lots of infantry. I have the Widowmakers, then I have the Iron Fangs with the command attachment and the Iron Fang Kovnik, and I have a unit of Doom Reavers together with the Greylord Escort. And then I have 1 single Manhunter.
So when I saw your list, we tend to exchange lists a day before or so we get a chance to look at each other's cards and things. And when I saw your list, I was pretty happy. I like Nemo likes to see a lot of infantry because of electric leaps and things. But the main things I was worried about was the Widowmakers. Usually, if I have trenches in my list, then Widowmakers don't bother me at all. But in this case, they could have been pretty nasty against the Storm Towers. And the other thing I was worried about was Ruin, because his threat range with Butcher is just pretty crazy. It's very unlike Khador to have a long threat range on their jacks. So that was the 2 things I was really concerned about dealing with in your list, I think.
Yeah, actually, the Ruin and the Juggernaut on the red line, they both have the same threat range. So. They both have,
okay.
On the chart, speed 6, so similar.
Nasty.
Ruin has 1 inch more because of reach on his weapon.
Okay.
I didn't know what to expect from your list, to be honest. I didn't really have quite the master plan when I started this game. The only thing I knew was I can't allow you to let me shoot round after round, so I have to storm forward, especially with the jacks, and I have to get in melee somehow.
Yeah.
At any cost.
So this is my first time I've played 2 Centurions in a list, and they kind of they're there to kind of stop charges, and I guess we'll see how that worked out a bit later. But
it played a role, if I remember correctly. It did play a role.
Yeah, it did, definitely. So the next slide is the layout of the table. I can't remember what I think is it entrenched? No, it's not.
No, the scenario was... I don't remember. It was, but destroy the objective, dominate, or... what's the other thing? Dominate or...
control.
Control a flag and get your points.
So you won the roll-off and you decided to go first?
Did I?
Was that...
Yes, I did.
You did, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I got to decide which side I wanted to go on, and the table was quite balanced, but I really didn't want to have to split my guys up into 2. That forest on your side of the table would have... I probably could have stayed on one side of that, but would have been more difficult. And I thought this nice house here would be excellent for hiding Nemo behind. So we got, as usual, we got the large amount of terrain on the table, so something we play with a lot now. It works out really well, actually. It always makes a big difference.
It does, definitely.
So what about your setup here?
Yeah, I decided to have the first turn. In hindsight, maybe it was not the best positioning for some of my units. I placed the Doom Reavers where I placed them because I wanted to utilize the house, so stop you from shooting my poor Doomies into the ground. And I thought maybe it will be a good idea to run around, so from this picture, around the left side of the house and get into your back somehow. And I think it worked quite well, so they stayed alive.
They definitely stayed alive, but I think it also prevented them from getting into the game, really.
Yeah, might be you are right.
But it was an interesting idea.
We will see. I don't remember, but I think you're right. They didn't do as much damage as they could have done. Then the Widowmakers, of course, I was planning to move them into the forest, and from there on, I wasn't sure what to do. Either shoot your storm towers or cripple one of your jacks. I think I thought about crippling the Firefly, but they were never in range to shoot at the Firefly. So
yeah, I definitely wanted to keep my Firefly away. The Firefly needs to survive on feet turn, and then he can die after that.
And at that point, I didn't even realize how dangerous the Firefly can be, or how good the synergy of the Firefly with the rest of your guys can be. But
yeah, there's a reason why you see him in a lot of lists with the Journeyman Warcaster.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh.
So anyway, the Jacks, they just have to run forward and engage you in melee as soon as possible. And I think you said that to me after the game, that you thought that my positioning of the Iron Fangs was probably a bit poor decision, because they had to run through the forest in the end. I honestly don't remember what I thought about placing them there.
Well, they've got relentless. Is it relentless charge or boundless charge? They can charge through.
Yeah, they have Pathfinder on the charge, but they have to see through as well. So this is the main problem.
Yeah. So I don't know what you could have done with them otherwise, because they were sharing space with the Jacks.
Yeah, true. The middle lane is reserved for the Jacks, so to say. So I could have placed them behind the Doom Reavers, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that would have given them a bit of an easier charge, maybe.
But on the other hand, then you could have shot them really easily. So
yeah,
I don't know.
That's the thing. Yeah. Okay, so my side of the setup. So I got Nemo there ready to hide behind the house, because he doesn't really need line of sight to anything to influence the battle too much. Got Reinhardt next to him, obviously, so he can be in base contact for his little special stuff. And then I spaced out the two Centurions so that they could each take one half of the table. And then I've got Dynamo and Thunderhead and the Firefly in between them. And then Strangeways up behind all the Jacks, so you can just run and help out whichever one needs it. And the Journeyman's up behind the Firefly, obviously, although I was planning to put Arcane Shield on one of the Centurions, so I just had to watch out with that when I was activating. And then I set up the Storm Towers opposite your Widowmakers, so it was quite an interesting matchup. So the Widowmakers I knew would easily be able to hit the Storm Towers, but you, out of 4 shots, you're quite likely to miss one of the shots. And I've got 4 models in the Storm Towers.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll wait and see what happened, but it was a little bit risky, I guess, putting them up against each other. But actually, I don't think the Storm Towers had an awful lot of choice otherwise, and it was quite valuable to tie up your Widowmakers. So the Storm Towers were kind of a bit sacrificial.
Yeah.
And yeah, so my plan was really to park myself in the centre and stop you from being able to charge me.
Yeah. And
looking at your... Go on, sorry.
Never mind. Yeah, my first turn of running everything up the field. Actually, not much to say about it. As I described it before, the Doom Reavers were successfully hiding behind the house.
Yeah.
The Manhunter tries to do the same, but he's a little bit exposed. The Widowmakers have taken their position inside the forest, and the rest of the guys just run up. After the Jacks run up, Butcher and Malakov placed their upkeep spells, and I was good to go. Also,
yeah. So it's pretty standard first turn.
Yeah.
And So once I saw your Manhunter there, I felt like I needed to deal with him. He was quite a high priority target because he's a bit worrying to Nemo.
He can do a lot of damage. I mean, he's Weapon Master, and on the charge, you don't want to be charged by him.
Yeah, so really I focused on trying to take him down, and that's part of the reason why you take Reinhold, is because if it's a stealth model, then you can take the stealth away from one model. Just there's no range on that power, it's just anything within his line of sight, which is really handy for when you've got long distance shooting.
Yeah, especially because then stealth is gone, so to say, globally. Not only for
Yeah.
Nemo, but for every one of your models.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, that's right. So that was my main task. On the other side, the Storm Towers just wanted to be 14.5 inches away from the Widowmakers, so they couldn't shoot me with aiming.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm actually looking at my turn now, and then it was just a case of moving up the Centurions, and then just making space for everything else. Really, trying to predict where you're going to be on the next turn, and making sure I'll be able to charge you or shoot you. So I think I used Dynamo to kill the Widowmaker. Used Reinhold, just peeked around the corner of the house just to take stealth away, and then I think Dynamo just took him down. He must have boosted a shot to do that. Thunderhead's up the front there, but he's well outside of charge range of everyone, so he's not too worried. So ideally the Centurions want to be completely up front, but they've only got speed 4, so they can lag behind the speed 5 jacks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it just means that I just have to make sure I move them first on the next turn. Both of my large base Storm Towers weren't big enough to get up on that hill, especially as it was blocked by a well.
well.
And I've got the objective with the smoke, so I parked one of the Centurions inside the smoke, and one of the Storm Towers behind. And all the support models just moved up, so just trying to fan out into a semicircle. And I'm not too worried about shooting, which actually was a bit careless of me, it turned out. But so pretty standard turn 1 for both of us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, normally Khador does not a good job of shooting, so normally.
Yeah, I didn't get the feeling yours was like a super shooty list. I mean, you got the Widowmakers and you've got the Demolisher.
Yeah.
But Demolisher's quite short range. The Widowmakers are going to be tied up with the Storm Towers. So yeah, I wasn't too worried about getting shot.
Mm-hmm. And this is pretty much how it turns out then. Just when I look at the picture, you had a lot of focus to manage, I must say. In hindsight,
it was it something like 21 focus or something? Because Nemo's got 7. Then every time Nemo allocates a focus, then Finch can do that. So there was 4 jacks that she could have given focus to. So that's another 4 focus. And then there's power up for everyone, so that's another 5 focus. And what else was there? Journeyman Warcaster had 3 focus. So yeah, it was a lot of focus to deal with.
Yeah, I never saw a list with so many jacks, which were so very well supplied with focus.
Yeah, that's really his thing. I mean, you could run 6 jacks, 6 heavies with him, which would be really good.
Yeah. Okay, then let's go to my turn, I guess.
Yep.
What happened? I moved the Doom Reavers around the house. I don't quite remember why I exposed one of him so much, but
possibly to try and tempt me into charging him.
Yeah, something like that.
So they're all really worried. They don't like Electroleaps.
No,
Reavers.
they don't. They die so easily. I think the plan was, I don't know, to tempt you to do something foolish. So that was why the one was standing there, and the other ones, the idea was to walk them. So I couldn't charge anything because the house is blocking the line of sight, obviously. But I plan to either walk them up to the front or behind the house and then attack you in the back or something like that. The jacks simply moved up, and the Iron Fangs as well. And yeah, the Widowmakers, they shot your Storm Towers, and as you predicted it, one of them missed, which means that one of the towers survived. And
I think you were rolling, what is it, 6s to hit, something like that?
They have RUT 7 because they moved, and I don't know what your Storm Towers are on.
Defense 13, so yeah, 6s to hit.
Yeah. And
so that's the key, is that if you've got 4 shots and you've got 6s to hit, then you you've got a very good chance of missing one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And this is exactly what happened. So, and at first I thought, well, this went rather well. I didn't realize that the Widowmakers cost 8 points and your towers only cost 4 points per unit, right?
Yeah.
Is it 4 points?
That's right, yeah.
So, and yeah, point-wise, it was not such a good deal for me in the end, but...
Yeah, well, I did get lucky, I think. So, yeah, so you took out all but one of the Storm Tower models, which was quite painful, I guess.
Yeah.
But the main fight's going to be between the Jacks in the middle.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I was thinking, should I let the Widowmakers stand where they are, but then they would block the way for the Iron Fangs, and they could have only shot at your Jacks, and I didn't expect them to do much against them, because only the heavy war Jacks were in range, and, well...
Yeah, you could take out a column with one unit of Widowmakers, but yeah, they needed to do something a bit more significant on the one turn that they got before they got countered attacked.
Yeah, this was exactly my thinking. So this was my...
I think it was okay.
I think so too. I think I couldn't... There's not much that I could have done better, I guess.
Yeah, I also think, although despite what happens on the next turn, I think charging when you're playing Khador and you've got so many cheap heavies. I mean, Ruin is an amazing heavy, and he's 17 points, which is less than I mean, I think he's the same as a Centurion.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. And my other Jacks were more expensive than him.
Yeah. Ruin.
So he's excellent value, and I think a Juggernaut is excellent value for 12 points.
Yes. And you don't like the Demolisher, you always tell me, but...
Yeah, I feel like for what he does... I mean, in this game, I'm going to be proven wrong, but I feel like for what he does, he doesn't need guns, and you may as well take the... what's it called? The Destroyer? No.
The Devastator.
Devastator.
But the Devastator is better against lots of infantry, because he has this blast damage attack.
But they don't... Generally, the Clamjacks, you don't really need a reason to open up their... armor. They're just better with armor 20. Was it 23?
23, yes, nowadays.
And they're sort of more of a roadblock than a damage dealer, I feel like.
Yeah, they can block lanes, they can push you around, and they can trample without getting open up, so this is also good.
Yeah. And I think the Devastator can do his AoE attack without opening up as well.
No, he opens up for that.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is the... And this is what I thought in this game, because against your many heavy Jacks, the Devastator is not so good.
Well, he can slam, I think, without opening up.
He can slam, he can bulldoze, he can trample.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's low on the damage side in that case against heavy Jacks.
But I feel like the Clamjacks, that's not what they're for. They're there to be impossible to remove rather than for doing damage. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked. So I've got my Storm Towers are almost finished. So that Storm Tower needs to do something about the Widowmakers. The Doom Reavers are creeping around the back of the house, so Nemo needs to move away from those just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think moving on to my turn. So it was my feet turn. No question about that.
Yep.
Everything that I wanted to shoot with high power shots was all within shooting range.
Yep.
So I can't remember the exact activation order, but it looks like Nemo moved away but still took out a Doom Reaver by shooting.
Yeah, the one I exposed. He's gone.
Yeah. And you made sure he was more than 4 inches away from the others, so there was no electro leaps there.
Mm-hmm.
Then it looks like what I did was move in the Firefly to make sure he was 5 inches away from all of your Jacks.
Yeah, and that was the moment when I realized what the Firefly is for.
Yeah, he's a bit like an electric ragman, so he just adds 2 to damage rolls for electric damage, and this list has got a lot of electric damage shooting. So the Firefly went up. I think he took a shot and maybe did a bit of damage. Definitely boosted his damage and had an extra dice from the feet. So that's even though it's only a power 10, I'm sure that did some damage. I can't remember exactly. And then Dynamo did his full set of shooting into Ruin.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember that I almost took Ruin completely down. He had one box left or something, and then I took a long time to decide whether or not to finish Ruin off or take the last shot onto the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I think in the end I just made sure I finished off Ruin, then the Centurion went up and engaged the Juggernaut. So that felt like he was tied down and relatively safe there.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, sorry, go on.
The Centurion didn't attack the Juggernaut. You just moved him up the field.
Is that right? Did I miss or did I attack the Doom Reavers that were next to him or something like that?
I think you attacked the Doom Reavers because the Juggernaut is not in range for the Centurion.
Okay, so that must have been it. And then Thunderhead, I was trying to decide whether to run Thunderhead up towards the Widowmakers and then take out a couple of Iron Fangs at the same time, but I think I just took shots into the Devastator. Or he helped take down Ruin, one of the two.
The Widowmakers you killed with the Storm Towers.
Yeah, so the Storm Tower needed an 8 to hit one of the Widowmakers, and I made it.
He did, yeah.
And the Electroleaps just fried all of the rest of them.
Yeah, a shame.
Again, feet turn, so they didn't really have a chance.
Yeah, a bloody shame, I must say.
So I came out just about on top with a lucky roll. It was a lucky roll, really.
It was. I think you needed a 9 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then where the Widowmakers used to be is the other Centurion, who's being represented by the Ironclad.
Yeah.
And he definitely took out a couple of Iron Fangs with his spear, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Or did I shoot him in the back with something and zap them with electrics?
Either of those things. I don't quite remember. But there are some Iron Fangs are missing, so...
Yeah. That kind of ties up the Iron Fangs because they can't charge the Centurion, so they can't get their movement bonus through the forest. So the best they can do on the next turn is walk up to him.
Yeah.
And do some attacks.
Yeah.
And then the Devastator, the Demolisher, I think
he went unharmed. I think nothing.
I think he got left alone. Yeah. That sounds about right.
I think something damaged the Juggernaut for some points. Yeah,
so I had a lot of Electroleaps from various shooting as well, which all did little bits of damage here and there. So overall, it was a pretty nasty feat turn, and I think the Demolisher was untouched, but the Juggernaut I think had some damage, and the Ruin is gone. So that felt like a success to me. Widowmakers are gone, a couple of Iron Fangs are gone, but have a Centurion in front of them.
Yeah.
It felt like I was doing okay at that point.
Yeah, I remember that I wasn't amused. This big gaping hole in my jack line. I mean, come on, Ruin shot to death. This is not normally this doesn't happen. Okay, what did I do? Yeah, the first thing I did was I realized that there's a teeny tiny hole between the Cloud and the Centurion. Or
that's Dynamo.
Dynamo, yeah. And I thought, well, this is perfectly fine for me, so I moved the Devastator up and shot at Nemo.
So first up, you used the Juggernaut to take out the Firefly, because the Devastator needed to be in the Firefly's range to take his shots.
I think the first thing I did was I turned on Butcher's Feet.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then now it comes back to me. And then my plan was I gave the Juggernaut full focus and charge. No, I did not charge. I just let him walk.
Yeah.
Between the Firefly and the Centurion. And
that's right.
My plan was to kill both because the Juggernaut was under the influence of Redline, which means he has power plus strength 21 on his X.
Yeah.
And then Butcher also cast Fury on him, which means he had strength plus 3. So
yeah. So you're hitting it power 25.
24, I think it was.
24
on the X. And but I forgot that you had this what is this, magnetic field on the Centurion. So every time he got hit, the attacker was pushed back 1 inch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So the Juggernaut had only one hit on the Centurion, which did a lot of damage, but it of course wasn't enough. And then the Juggernaut had to kill the Firefly and was, I think, sitting on 1 focus left or so. But he did kill the Firefly, which was a good thing. And then the Demolisher walked up and shot at Nemo.
Yeah, so this was a nasty surprise, and I still have a lot to learn about not getting weak casters killed by assassinations.
Yeah, I think this could have ended the game right there, but I think I needed 9 or 11 to hit. I don't remember. I think it was 11.
Yeah.
So of course I boost to hit, but the first shot missed, but the second one connected. Plus I boosted the damage, so it was with a feat from Butcher, 4 dices on the damage, and I think I took, I did like 15 damage, and you had 1 focus to...
That's right, exactly, yeah, it would have killed me, but I managed to bring it back and it left me on 4 boxes.
Yeah, true.
Really nasty.
And then what happens next? The Doom Reavers, they charge the Centurion.
No, they couldn't charge him, they walked up to him.
They walked up, but they were not able to kill him. And
so they got pushed away as well, and they left him on 1 box.
1 box, right. Shame. Really, really a shame.
Centurions with Arcane Shield and with their little imprint, no charge imprint, is really strong.
Yeah, a lot of staying power, definitely.
Yeah.
The Grey Lord cast his ice spell on the little green guy, but he
missed.
Kind of impossible to hit, so...
he's got quite a high defense.
Yeah. And then the Iron Fangs, they walked up and started poking the other Centurion. And it was
1 damage, I think.
I think no damage at all, if I remember quite. I mean, 7 Iron Fangs under the feet turn of Butcher 1, poking at your jack and doing no damage at all. I was a bit mad at that point. And,
I think it was dice minus 11 or something you were rolling.
And in hindsight, these guys have a combined melee attack. I should have, instead of doing 7 individual attacks, I should have done 2. For example, 2 or 3 combined melee attacks, and because they also have precision strike, I could have easily crippled your weapon arm or your cortex or something like that.
Yeah,
this was a mistake, but
okay. Well, I suppose he learned something there then.
Yeah, I did. Okay, but that was my feat turn.
So it was pretty nasty because now Nemo's only on 4 boxes, so he's really asking to be assassinated here.
But I plan to kill much more of your stuff, so...
Yeah. So the Centurions really did their job in holding off your charges, and... So it was really just a positional error, and I think if I hadn't have done that, then that probably would have been almost it. So now all I have to do is hit back hard enough that you can't assassinate Nemo on the next turn. I'll get a cough. Excuse me.
No problem.
So so naturally I put Nemo out of line of sight, hidden behind the objective and the cloud, which we'll come back to very soon. So I thought he was pretty safe there. The Journeyman Warcaster took out the Grey Lord, so I'm not worried about you coming around from behind or anything like that. The Centurion on the left, I can't remember exactly what he did. He had a lot of crippled systems.
He did almost nothing. Maybe killed one Doom Reaver.
Yeah, that's right. He did 2 successful hits, but because they have tough. So he knocked killed one of them, but he toughed, and then the knockdown guy he automatically killed. And then then I used all the power left on Thunderhead and Dynamo, which turns out to be quite a lot of power, even when it's not on feat turn. So Thunderhead had the +2 strength spell on him from Nemo, which puts him at strength at power 19 for his melee. And he has 2 initial attacks, so between the 2 of them, they took down the Juggernaut and the Demolisher. Strange Ways actually I didn't get an awful lot of value out of him this game at all, because you were either completely destroying jacks or not damaging them at all. And I certainly had enough focus to go around, so I might have to see about strange ways. The main reason he's there is for repairs, but we'll see if it's worth keeping him in just for that.
I must admit, I don't remember what he does, what he can do. So,
well, there's two reasons he's in the list. One is because he can repair jacks very well, and that didn't come up in this game. Another reason to keep him is because he gives out focus and takes away disruption.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you happen to be up against Iris, for example, which is happens quite a lot in our little group, then he'd be quite useful for removing disruption.
Yeah.
And finally, in this list, he has an electric damage spray. So if he's not doing anything else, then on feat turn he can do some really serious.
Okay, I see.
Serious damage against infantry with that, but that didn't come up anyway. And the Centurion on the right has taken down loads of Iron Fangs, just poking them with his spear.
Yes.
I think I was considering trampling across to Butcher.
Yeah, but you didn't do that for reasons I don't remember.
Well, because I didn't think you still had quite a lot of focus on Butcher, I believe.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I think two.
I didn't think I would be able to damage him enough, and then he would definitely kill the Centurion on the next turn.
Yeah, true.
At least that's what I thought. Because you've still got the Iron Fang Kovnik there, and a dog, and Malakov at the back there, so you probably would have taken down the Centurion.
Yeah, probably with Butcher. Malakov is a very, very bad fighter.
But it turns out that if I had seen into the future, then I definitely would have done that trample.
You would have done that.
That would have been quite handy. So I think the moral of the story is, even if you're going to give up a heavy, if it's late in the game, it's worth pinning down your opponent's caster. Yeah, because it just gives you that extra layer of protection, really.
Yes, especially if it's a caster like Butcher who can do a lot of damage on his own.
Yeah, exactly. So at this point, we were starting to run out of time for the game.
Yeah.
And you were getting a bit desperate because obviously virtually everything that does any damage is gone apart from Butcher himself. And I'm still left with 4 heavies on the table between him and my caster. So I was, feeling pretty good at this point.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
Didn't really feel like there was anything you could do. At least that's what I thought. There isn't another photo, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think this photo is pretty clear. So basically, as Steve just said, we were running out of time, and I was already planning to go because I had to drive home, and I was already saying, "Okay, Steve, you know what? You won the game. I have to leave." But
very gentlemanly.
Wait a second. I thought, let me just think what I would have done. I could have done that or that, and then I saw, I can just walk Butcher up the field and cast Obliteration on the objective. Obliteration has power 15 and is a 5-inch AoE, and cast it on the objective and then boost the blast damage on Nemo and have a very good chance of killing him, and this is what I did, and it worked out well.
Yes. So I made several mistakes. One was Nemo was within 2.5 inches of the edge of the objective, so he could have been sat. But it was a kill box scenario, but he could have been sat back a little bit further.
Yeah.
Mistake number 2 was he's only on 4 boxes, and I gave all of his focus out on my turn, so I didn't have any opportunity to reduce his damage. And mistake number 3 was not trampling towards Butcher with the Centurion.
I think you even had 2 focus left, but the damage was so high that it wasn't enough.
No, I gave out all the focus because I needed to destroy your Demolisher and the Juggernaut.
Okay.
So I gave it all to everyone.
Okay.
I think I even cast a spell against one of your Iron Fangs. Or I took a shot and boosted to hit or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So 3 relatively small mistakes, but in this case it all built up to you saw the opportunity, and it totally worked out fine.
Yeah, I must say, maybe to summarize this game, I don't think I won because I played so very good or something like that. I think your list was pretty strong against my list. I think it was really
Yeah.
the little mistakes, like you just said, the little mistakes you made. They opened up an opportunity for me to win.
So this is only my second game with a Nemo, and I think when you've got Nemo, like any other caster with pretty low stats, you need to be a little bit more careful than I like to be, I think. So he's got a really nice gun, which works really well with Reinhold, and he's got a really nice slam spell, and so it's very tempting to try and get him just a little bit too close to the action, and he can actually do quite a lot just sitting back. But the other mistake I made was obviously leaving that gap for the Devastator just to walk up and take shots. Sorry, the Demolisher. So it was a combination of several medium-sized mistakes, I think.
I really don't know what I could have done better.
The Iron Fangs.
The Iron
could
Fangs.
have done more.
Yeah, I probably you're right.
Even if they just died to shooting, they could have protected your jacks, for example.
Yeah, for example that. And I also just thought I should have put Fury on the Iron Fangs in the turn where they attacked the Centurion.
Oh yeah.
Because then they, with Fury and maybe some combined melee attacks, they could have done some real damage.
But I think that was the same turn that you were attacking the Firefly and shooting Nemo, so I think you needed all the focus for that.
Could be.
So I'm pretty happy with my list, and just need to be a little bit more careful, really.
I think you should play it again. It's a good list. And
yeah, it's okay. I'm not sure about Strange Ways with whether he's worth it. I'm not sure about the Storm Towers because
I cannot
think
tell you. Maybe instead of the Storm Towers, could he have a unit of trenchers? Is this possible?
Yeah, but the trenches don't have any electric damage, so on the feet turn they just get in the way and stop you doing electric. Because Electro Leaps are optional. The Electro Generator Leaps are not optional, which is quite interesting. So they would quite likely just get fried during feet turn. And plus, I don't feel like 4 jacks, and also 2 of them that you can't charge. I don't feel like they need a screening wall.
Yeah.
I think I played my first game with some infantry or something, and I felt like they were just getting in the way. Was it Storm Lancers or something like that? And I quite like the low model count because it makes the turns go quite quickly, and it actually reduces some of the decisions that you have to make.
This is true on the one hand, but on the other hand, you have so much focus and so many spells to cast that you have to manage all this kind of stuff.
There's a lot of learning to do with this list.
This is the good thing about Butcher. I mean, he's even advertised as a beginner warcaster. Because
he's a lot like Maddox. He really makes up for the stuff that your list is lacking. And he's very simple. In fact, he's got nothing on one side of his card. Is that right?
No special abilities at all. He's
like Striker 1. He's just got nothing on there.
Yeah, he's totally blank in that regard. And he has only 2 upkeeps, I think, which are both very easy to manage, and it's always easy to decide when you have to cast them. Then he has this offensive spell, and he has one very good spell which I should use more often. I think this is Full Throttle, I think it's called. Which means that all Battle Group Warjacks get boosted attack rolls.
That helps him run more jacks as well.
Yeah, true.
I would say take less infantry. Generally, I think that's what people are generally doing anyway. But I would say that
I know it's a great big thing about Mark III, but I must say I do like the infantry. I think it's always resourceful. Well,
I'm always happy to see lots of infantry. Opposite.
Yeah, you can fry them by the dozens, but for example, against Christian's list, what are they called? Cricks,
yeah.
And also against Ben's elves, I always thought that the infantry is quite strong.
So I think I haven't got any games lined up yet, but I'm hoping to test out this list against the elves soon, because that'll be a lot of robots on the table smashing each other, so that'd be quite cool.
And in the end, this is what Warmachine is all about.
Yeah.
I think we are talking too much. It's already 40 minutes.
I agree. Yeah, that's crazy. So that's a bit of a long one, but I think I don't think we were rambling. I think it was all valid stuff. So
Extremely valid stuff.
so it's a great game. I had a lot of fun, and
Yeah,
I
me too.
didn't feel bad at all about losing because I felt like I think it was very tactical, and I think we both played sort of pretty well. So I think
You delivered a good game. As we said, it's your little mistakes. They cost you the win in the end.
yeah.
Okay, then I think I will now click on stop recording.
Okay. Yeah, I will see you on the next one.
See you.